welcomes don't get finished. Welcome to the Sello, Maake, Ncube and Sons Conversations, which are aimed and are dedicated to 16 days of activism. This is a wonderful moment, and I would like to thank Sakumzi for offering us the place. And even if you can check on the table, there are nice food. We're having nibbles as we are going to be having a chat. And this is a very important time, ladies and gentlemen and viewers out there, where we're finding ourselves having to deal with the scourge of violence. You know, for me, basically awakening to this it had to take a happening in the 1980s, where I had to deal with a certain aspect of me which is associated to gender-based violence. But as far as the conversations are concerned, that are so needed because men need to stand up and deal with this scourge. The thing that for me that is very, very, very crucial, it is us men beginning to take care and basically take charge of this issue. And in taking charge of this issue, one of the things that we have to realize is that we have to engage our boys. I've got my sons here with me, and we are going to be engaging in different conversations throughout the 16 days of activism, different topics on every day. And we want to challenge fathers and sons out there. Take the initiative, begin to engage with our sons and with your sons. Talk about issues that are relating to the world around us. Let us begin to find solutions and tools. And as we are starting our conversations, I want to also acknowledge what even our president started today, our deputy president. And one of the things that he said we should do is actually mourn for the victims of gender-based violence and for those who have been taken by the COVID-19. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy these conversations as we have them, because it is a journey that we all need to take. And fathers out there, I challenge you, all men out there, I challenge you. Let us take time to reflect. Let us take time to look at our actions, analyze our actions, and begin to start making new men out of ourselves. Sometimes we do things, and as we do them, you know, there's always that little voice that speaks inside of you. And that is your conscience. Let's swallow, as they say, and it is something that if ever there is a God, and if ever maybe there is SAPS, you know, that lives inside of us, that is the policeman. Our conscience is that policeman that basically polices us and arrests us when we are supposed to be doing bad things. But the conversation is not all about me. I would like to introduce my sons to you. And I will start with my eldest, sitting on the second chair or to my right, you know, and that is Neo. Hi. Neo, would you like to have say a few words?
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Naki Neo. I grew up more Piri, you know, Mapetla, but now I'm actually staying in Snake Park. Well, what can I say? You know, mina Ncube unzimandi umzilankathi. Inkathi ingene nithi ngangena ukubona izingaba zabantwana. Khambule emaguya ngengonyama. Ungaphiyena kufa iminyango ndandela la ngamlotshwa usuthu. Sakhumzi ngomkhondo. So yamba sigwinya umkhondo siphinde siukhafula imphephetho.
There we go. And that was Neo, ladies and gentlemen. And on next to Neo, it is Lindo. Lindo, introduce yourself, man.
My name is Lindo Mushe Makubo. I'm the fourth from a string of kids from Wab City. And yeah, I'm from Alberton, currently residing there with my mom. But yeah, it's pretty much.
Yeah. The man on my right.
Yes, sir. My name is Ncube. Ncube Motsei. 21 years old, currently based in Johannesburg, and I'm the fifth of an array of children that our lovely father has.
You know, as you can check, they all have different surnames, and that is to say, men out there, let us watch this thing of having children and just, you know, spreading children all over the world, and let us begin to realize that in some way, that kind of behavior is the behavior it is contributing to violence in itself. And this is invisible violence that we execute or emit to women and children when we have children with them, and then just think that we can just move away. And one person that I would also say we are dedicating this these conversations is my eldest son, who passed on in 2011. You know, he was the first that led me into these conversations, and I will let you know how that happened. But let me not forget our guest. We always leave the best for last, and we have our guest here who's joining us. And may our guest introduce herself, the only rose among thorns.
Good evening, everybody. Yes, I am indeed a rose. My name is Palesa Brown. I'm all the way from Brits. It is truly an honor, Maake, to have me here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I really hope that, you know, this is the 16 days that you and your sons have pledged will indeed make a difference. It's not just going to be today, but I know that this is the beginning. This is it.
Absolutely.
Yes, this is it.
Absolutely.
And I would also just like to say thank you to my daughter, Josina Ncube, for accompanying me here as well to make sure that Mommy arrives back safe home. Thank you.
We would like to thank Josina for bringing our guest here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to engage in different topics, you know, throughout these 16 days of activism. And I would like to read a couple of them to you. One of the conversations is going to be dealing with the father wound. Another one, we're going to be facing up to the rape stain. We're also going to be dealing with self-knowledge. We are going to be dealing with absent fatherhood as invisible violence on women and children. We are going to be dealing with learning how to resolve conflicts. We're going to be dealing with gender-based violence in the deaf and hearing impaired communities. We are going to be dealing with self-control, also about dealing with men and their relationship with contraception. We're going to be dealing with reviving chivalry. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of Ubuntu. We're going to be talking about imagining an ideal society for ourselves. We are going to be talking about masculinity as homophobia. And also, it is being said that gender-based violence is a shadow pandemic. But one of the things that I say is that when the pandemic of COVID-19 was first introduced and we realized that we have it in our country started putting protocols on how to deal with the pandemic. And my question is, what are the protocols that we have, that we're supposed to have for this shadow pandemic, which is gender-based violence? But let's get into the matter at hand. And the matter at hand this evening, ladies and gentlemen, is the rape stain. It is said that in South Africa, it is estimated that a woman born has a greater chance of being raped than learning how to read. I mean, that is a very, very, very sad indictment. And tonight, you know, and I'm forgetting to apologize for us starting very late. We had technical glitches, ladies and gentlemen, Please, thank you for bearing with us. Those who are now watching, we are going to be streaming, as you know, on Sello Maake Ncube's official Facebook page. We are also going to be airing on the Sello Maake Ncube Foundation Facebook page. But let's get into the news. And what we are going to be talking about this evening is the rape stain. Palesa is going to relate her story to us, and we are going to go on and engage her into it and also air our views about it. Palesa, I read your book, you know, and I was fascinated by the title. You know, okay. And I want you to tell the viewers the title of the book. Let them hear it coming out of your mouth for the first time, and give us the reasons why you chose that title.
Good evening once again, viewers at home and everywhere, wherever we're viewing from. I guess the cat is now out of the bag. I guess it is the long-awaited wait. That Maake.
Okay.
The title of the book is "To My Rapists, I Thank You." I know we will have a lot of questions as to why I would actually say "To my rapist, I thank you." Mm-hmm. I'm not sure whether this is the platform now to start narrating, or do we've just given them the title and now we then take it from there.
Let's take it from there. Tell us about what happened to you. Palesa.
2005, the 25th of August, I was gang raped by 7 men in Rustenburg, assisted by 2 women. It is unfortunate that I had just survived a stroke, and I was then offered a job in Rustenburg. Mm-hmm. And so I was still limping a bit, so I could not actually drive. My employer then offered me accommodation in Rustenburg, where they booked me, and then I was then taken to and from work to where I stayed. And it is on that day, it just happened that our head office was in Honeydew. And it happened that my manager got delayed in traffic because he was at a meeting here in Johannesburg. So I said, you know, it was kind of far for me to walk because I was still limping from my stroke, but then it was actually not that far. But then I said, no, it's okay, I'll catch a taxi. So I walked, limped to the nearest robot, and as I got there, taxis were passing, and there comes this taxi. It had a few people in it, and it was safe for me, I guess, at the time, because I mean, it was taxis. So I just stopped it. And then I think I was more comfortable because there were 2 women inside. So I actually hopped in, and not knowing that that was the day that I would actually be abducted for 3 days, released on Monday when they actually started raping me at Winnie Mandela, the squatter camp, Winnie Mandela squatter camp. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Wow. When that happened, what were the thoughts that went in your mind? Yeah. You know, I'm asking this, you know, because I remember watching a movie called The Accused. And it starred, how can I forget this actors, but the name will come. And then there was some, you know, and there was a court case. And, you know how sometimes defense lawyers can be so brash and harsh. And this lawyer was saying to the rape victim, and says, when this was happening, what did you say? You know, and the lady said, I just kept on saying no, no. How was it for you?
Well, those were the exact words, because I mean, we say no to everything that we are not comfortable with. We say no to things that we don't want. Mm-hmm. We say no because no means no. We say no because it means that I do not give you access, or I do not grant you permission to me. Yeah. And those are the words that I kept on saying. no, no, no. And then I also kept on begging for my life and making them realize that I still have 2 minor children. So please, whatever it is that they do, please do not kill me.
Any, things that you want to add or ask, gentlemen?
I think for me, just hearing that, it's scary that she had to even ask to not like for them to spare her life. Yeah. That's just a very profound, weighted thing for me to try and swallow. Being a male as well. Yeah.
I think the question that I want to ask is like, so were the women like going with the guys as a group, or it just so happened that they were in a taxi together and they...
At the time, certain things did not make sense. I also did not know up until later. There's always a rewind, right? When you start wanting to make sense of what actually transpired and as to how and why, you then start reflecting on from the moment you got into the taxi up until the day they actually let you go, what happened. So with me, it was that thing, I got in, I was then seated, there's the drivers, then there's the one behind the driver, then there's the third one, right? So I was there. And then as I got in, this lady spoke to this guy, but at that moment, I didn't know anything. And as I think as the taxi went on, she then says, right? So she made a sign. It still didn't matter to me. So the other lady was left. And as they drove on, I think 3 stops later, the other one says, I know no sharp. And I still didn't get it, right? And I was supposed to get off the next stop from where that lady got off, which was Cornelates and Haystack. And I said to them, I'm getting off. And then this other guy was like, hi, Tulawena. I shut up. And because it still didn't click as to what was actually happening. And I'm like, I'm trying to actually sign at the driver to like, guy, there's something happening here that I don't know that makes me feel very uncomfortable. But then I only got to realize that they in this together. So that's how, but then later on, I think as it went on, I actually got to realize where those ladies are actually used and paid to actually lure women in to make us feel safe. Good, when the taxi come, no, it's okay. There are women inside. So hence I've got this hashtag that says hashtag be your sister's keeper, because I felt that I was actually raped more. The pain was more to me being raped by a woman than being raped by a man, because I was failed by one of my own, a sister that was supposed to keep me. So hence I always teach people the importance of being a sister's keeper.
No.
Yeah,
what are your thoughts?
Listening to your story, it just pains me because I'm a man myself, and I also have a daughter, so I can imagine things like that happening to my own daughter, Larona, and the thing is, we also look at gender-based violence one-sided, and most of the time we deal with the extremes. And the extremes, it's like this pendulum clock, it's like once you deal with one extreme, the more you go to the other side, the more you're gonna go to the other side equally to that, you understand? So if we could probably have a balance where we just not point fingers, but deal with the issues from the depth of them, you understand? Because men are not the only rapers, even women as well, you understand? If the incident like that didn't happen, I don't think other people will believe that even women could be involved in rape victims' lives. Understand? So I don't know. I could say I'm proud of you because of you're brave enough to come out and talk about the story, and so you can help other people who have kept silent. You understand, for too long. And yeah, thanks for your bravery. Yeah.
Go ahead.
If I may, thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think that Maake, it is very important that we highlight something here, and we need to correct it, right? The importance of, gender, right? People need to understand that before I'm a woman, I'm a human being. Before I see a man in you, I see a human being. And if I learn to respect me as a human being, it means that I will then be able to respect you as well, right? Before anything. Because I think the most important that's actually, or the challenge that you're actually having is the fact that we are separated by gender. And this is where the problem comes. Because if I can, or if my brother can look at me as a human being and not as a woman, I think that problem, we will really, really win in that aspect. It would then take away Tamaya Hore, what was she wearing, right? I mean, it's so absurd when you listen to such things like what was she wearing? I mean, babies get raped for crying out loud. They're wearing pampers, some of them are wearing napkins. So we take away that because that is the first thing I was asked, what I was wearing. I was wearing a pants, one. It was a bit chilly, the boots. I was wearing a shirt. And I was still wearing, I think it was a throw over or something like that. So it's not actually even about what I was wearing when I was raped. I was raped because my perpetrators failed to see me as a human being.
My sister, one thing that I'm very thankful for is that today, as we are seated here with you, me and my boys, is that we are getting educated. And I think also very apparent, just listening to your story, is how, for instance, at times it is just so important that we deal with comparisons. We deal with a matter that is just at hand. And because at this present moment, people who are the most perpetrators of rape are men. And also, again, mentioning the thing about what were you wearing? You know what I mean? It is not about what were you wearing. And I don't want to answer this question. I want to ask the boys that what is at play here? Because here is a Njengele person. It is not about what she's wearing. She's wearing decently and not in any way trying to be provocative, because, dressing is, and that's how the way they are dressed is provoking, those things in them. But this time it's not about dressing. So what do you think is at play?
I think it's what Palesa said, that until we get to a point where we can respect each other as humans, because sexual violations happen to people who are queer as well, people who are transgender, people who whatever sexual orientation they choose to be.
Exactly. And
they still get sexually violated.
Yes.
And that has nothing to do with them being a woman per se.
But what is at play? Lindo, what is really at play here?
I think it's what you always say, it starts with a thought, I think growing up we've been taught in my experience, you were taught from a young age basically to sexualize women. I think growing up, I've never had a thing in which, maybe when a woman walks past, you look back to see, how women are, whatever. But it's something that was taught like over some time, and you start seeing women as sexual objects instead of people. I think that's where it starts.
Yeah, I've got a follow-up question, but now, what do you think is at play? Because here it is. This person is not dressed provocative, pro his whore at time, being provocative. At time, English runs away.
There's one thing I could say. Us as humans, we need to understand something, that you cannot give what you don't have. Some other people, they have pain in their lives. And the only way they can actually be able to heal themselves is by, provoking somebody's life or putting some pain to a person's life.
Yeah.
So we need to remember that, you know what, women, without women in this world, I think amadoda besubulalana. You know, and a woman being there, giving birth to this man, and this man tomorrow rapes the same woman who gave birth to. It's something that is contradictory for me. I don't know. So the thing is, I think men, we need to understand that, you know what, even women, there's no such thing as okay, let me not put it that way. I think, you know what, we should understand with like umfazi nendoda, they're equal. Understand? We need to understand that, as you're saying, humans. Understand? Being a human, it makes us equal. Understand? But the things that we need to understand our departments, because if you don't know the structure, then how are we going to achieve our goal? Because there must be a structure. No baba, no mama. Understand? But if we fail in the basics of life, then we are going to end up like being the same men that we are today, raping women unnecessarily.
You know, I loved the fact that you spoke about about the pain, that you don't give what you don't have. You know, you give what you have, and you almost saying that these guys are dealing with their own pain.
Yes.
You know what I mean? But I guess, the pity is that we don't have enough time. You know, we don't have enough time, and we started very late. And I would have really wanted us to delve deeply into the psyche, but what is it in men that drives us to get to that point where we just feel that we just have to do, these horrendous things and harm other people in the process? What is at play, and what should be the things that we should apply, and what is it that we as men can do to stop this scourge of rape? What do you think we can do now? Let me start with you. Or do you want to say something, ma'am?
I just quickly wanted to add on what you're saying, that the Maake. I think the answer is brokenness.
Yeah.
Men are broken, make no mistake.
Yeah.
And I think society has portrayed such a wall that men are supposed to be macho men.
Yeah.
And men should not cry.
Yeah.
A man cannot express his pain.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm saying that, when my perpetrators were arrested, I actually needed to understand as to why I was raped, because I think this was part of my healing journey, right?
Yeah.
I've got a company, my company is called Own Your Scars. So I needed to own my scars in order for me to now come out and be vocal about them, right? And then I also say that we scar, yet we scar differently. And no scar is better than another. A scar is a scar. It means that pain was inflicted, right? The four out of the five that I actually had to engage with, the four showed no sense of remorse. But this fifth one broke me.
Yeah.
He actually taught me the art of forgiveness. This one. Because why am I saying that? I think it's important that we capture it so that we get to understand how broken men are.
Yeah.
And what absent fathers are actually doing to their children, right? The first one said to me, rape was his love language. And I was like, what do you mean rape is your love language? This was now the physical me speaking, like, what do you mean that rape is your love language? Because why? He looked up to his father. His father raped him. It started there. And with his father raping him, then the uncle came. Then father's friends came and they raped him. And it was okay for him because he looked up to his father. It was his love language, right? And then I'm like, Umputa these things because he wants me to feel sorry for him. But little did I know that it was indeed true. Then this child then became very rebellious, went into this crazy world, went into juvenile prison where he was also raped, right? And to him, it was okay. Because remember, his father did that, so it is okay. Then as he grew into his manhood, he was arrested, and then he was still raped in prison. And then he came out, he continued to rape. And he said to me, you know, Sissy, I've raped so many women in this world. I've lost count. And you're the first woman to actually sit here and wanting to understand as to why I raped you. And it made me to take 20 steps back to question as to why. And it made me to realize that my father never really loved me. And those are also that's also the brokenness in this man, right? Because now he had now deal with the fact that what his father did was wrong. And that was really brokenness there. Out there that you actually don't have any idea what absenteeism plays in a child's life. Money does not fulfill what we actually want. I was also as a daughter, because I suffered rejection from my father. And to me, I felt like for the longest time I was angry at my dad. I felt that had he been in my life, certain things would not have happened because he would have been my macho man. So I'm just basically going back to your question as to why and what. It is broken. It is brokenness.
Well, you have heard Palesa. The issue of brokenness and the issue of fathers having to take responsibility and be part and parcel of their children's life has been echoed. Pity time is not on our side. But I am sure this evening, me and my boys have actually gained some lesson. And I am sure we've got something also to deliberate on. And I look forward to when, as time goes on and we are engaging in these conversations, that we get to the point that we begin to tell stories and begin to even talk to many of our friends and make them realize their brokenness and start our own healing process. Hashtag heal yourself. Hashtag Sello, Maake, Ncube and his sons changing attitudes. You, my friend out there, my contemporaries as fathers, let's take it upon ourselves. It is not yet too late. It is time now to break the cycle. Let's have this conversation, and I challenge some fathers who want us to be part of these conversations. Write to us on my website, the Sello Maake Ncube Foundation, and let's start the conversation and let's take this war on. South Africa has got to be clean of this stain of rape. Thank you.